Wow. The wow. So I mean, any idea who else got signed based on your success that would normally wouldn't
Oh,
have got?
sure. He signed Bella Fleck and the Flecktones, which are a jazz blues group.
Wow.
Out of that group came, uh, wow, what is his name? Victor Wooten,
Wow.
the amazing jazz bass player. Um, he signed the Fairfield Four, which is an older um, black gospel group. You
Wow.
know, so there's a lot of stuff that happened because they created a whole nother division called Alliance, which was our original
Oh yeah,
name.
yeah. Did they know that?
Oh yeah, because
Okay.
we had to change our name when we got signed because another group had it
Oh,
at the time. So Warner Alliance kind of came out of that, and that's where they signed some of their other vanity projects to put over there instead of it being directly on Warner Brothers Nashville.
Nashville.
So yeah, they were able to do a lot of really cool things over the years.
Wow. I mean and that's also another feel good story about how much you not just not repaid him for trusting you, but also opened the doors for other people indirectly by your success.
Hmm.
What damn were you not did you were you nominated for your debut album any the Grammys at that point?
Yes, our debut album was nominated for 3 Grammys, and we won 2 of them. Yeah,
Wow.
and we performed on the show, which was really, really cool. And of those 3 Grammys, the one that we didn't win was my favorite nomination of all time, and that was for Best New Artist.
Whoa.
Because obviously you can only be nominated for Best New Artist
Once.
one time.
Who beat
Yeah.
you?
Tracy Chapman.
Oh, that's hard one because she was yeah
Hmm.
yes that she was a
Hmm.
global success with that
Oh yeah.
sidekick. Wow. No, so not only commercial success, but I guess when you and in the 80s the Grammys had a lot more significance than they are now. So that must have been almost like a the head honchos of one head office thinking, what's going on here? How did this unknown group come up with not just be was going over platinum, but getting Grammys nominations? That everyone must have taken notice, and I guess it would have been would have had his star rise up as well.
Oh yeah, yeah. So Jim Ed Norman, who I said signed us, became kind of a Svengali in the industry, and at that time, you know, for our next few albums, they started assigning Warner Brothers New York and Warner Brothers Burbank out in L.A. Some of the marketing chores and stuff because they're like, well, we've got this group now, and we need to put them in the R&B categories, the pop categories, and
Ah,
all of that. So, and it was a good thing because that enabled for larger budgets
okay.
and for other people who were more adept at some of the other marketing aspects to get into the fray. So it was cool. It was different
Yeah.
because we had this little family in Nashville with the Warner Brothers family. And so that was great for us. But, you know, after having the success of that first and second album, it needed to go into a larger pool of people.
Okay. I mean, on the hindsight, do you think staying in Nashville and under that guidance would have been better, or did you think the bigger attention put a lot more pressure and expectation?
I think it's both. You know, I think at the beginning, when you don't know much and you have all of the success, you're kind of insulated a little bit, you know, and you're able to share that success with a smaller group of people and able to work with a smaller group of people and know all of those people by name, you
Yeah.
know. And then once you start having a bigger success and they start farming it out a little bit more to more people in the company, um, inevitably you start having situations where it's a little bit more out of your control.
Mm.
And not that that's a good or a bad thing, it's just a different thing. You know, I think that's what ended up happening as subsequent albums were made for us is that we started having to have more meetings and more strategy sessions with a lot more people.
Wow.
And that's where things can get, you know, a little off track, you know, if I want to use that group of words.
Yeah.
Um, and people start having their own kind of agenda on what they want to see your success to be. And we still continue to do the kind of music that we wanted to do. But it was a little different from the very beginning.
Yeah. Well, then how did you leave to go to Reprise? Was that who made that decision?
So Reprise is in the Warner
Reprise.
system.
Oh, so they just changed
it's still a Warner.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So we were with in the Warner family until the beginning of the 2000s.
Okay.
So we were there for a good 12, 13 years or so.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. So when they put you in Reprise, was there change a different label? Did it mean different people that were managing it, or what's the change from leaving Warner?
Yeah. So what happens is every few years, especially in the 90s, pretty much all of the major labels would go through an upheaval, like every 3 or 4 years or whatever. And all of a sudden there would be a new person at the helm of the larger company, which would trickle down to the other divisions. And so that happened at Warner's quite a bit, because when we were signed, there was one regime, and then 3 or 4 years later, there was a whole nother regime and a whole nother regime.
Yeah.
The cool thing for us was being in Nashville. Jim Ed was there for the entirety of our tenure there.
Wow.
But again, because they started having us take meetings with New York and LA, we would have to talk to new regimes every couple of years. And if their philosophy was different, or musically they wanted to go in a different direction, then it would be a little harder trying to get them on board with what it is we were doing.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for being part of the Halftime Chat community. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. But most importantly, why don't you consider being a member? That's a way of supporting the channel, but also getting a lot of videos ahead of time, a lot of behind the scenes stuff, and some exclusive content that doesn't get shared. But anyway, thanks for watching, and thanks for being part of Halftime Chat.